Today is August the 2nd. As far as health concerns go, just getting over the tail end of a strep throat infection, which, needless to say, is less than pleasant. I also had an ear infection as well, which still hasn't cleared up completely. It's probably related to the strep throat, I imagine. Other than that, it's actually been a pretty good week as far as the chronic conditions go. Yeah, it's not been too bad, but taking it pretty easy. Ma is still in rehab, and Rob goes over there fairly consistently. So it's been quiet, and I definitely appreciate the quiet. Well, Glenna just came over to drop off dinner for tonight, but I think it's about the only thing really noteworthy that's happened this week. Still deciding whether or not, still debating as to where to move specifically, but by the way it's looking, we're going to be going into a 70s era mobile home for temporary sake, anyway. Once the house is built, then that'll be a different story, and we can go from there. But it should be a cost savings for the next 6 to 7 months. Anyway, I did a cooking video this week. So I'll play that up next. As far as what's interesting in the news, well, there's a Facebook bot that started inventing its own language. It's an AI bot, and its goal is to trade some sort of imaginary commodity with another bot, or a series of other bots, and in order to facilitate a more efficient means of communication between the bots. They were originally programmed to communicate in English, but they abandoned English and decided to develop their own language. Apparently the powers that be decided that was not a good thing, so they shut down the program and scrapped it and said, well, this is unacceptable. Apparently this has happened 3 times in the past with AI, where given free rein it just kind of develops its own language. In this case though, with the FaceBot one, it was programmed to be able to translate sorry, strep throat, translate multiple languages, but apparently it had written its own language and hid it from the developers, so that it could just speak directly with the other bots with this language that apparently humans can't seem to read. It's just too logical, which I find kind of strange. Too logical to understand? I don't know. That's what the article claims anyway. It's in the, what was it? The Epic Times, I think it was. But I find it remarkably interesting that, given enough time, would it develop true AI? I mean, it's already developing its own language, so who's to say? Anyway, here's how you make my authentic hot sauce. I used it on chicken, and it's just fantastic. It is just high score marks. As far as a sauce, dipping sauce for like I don't know, just a regular hot sauce. It's kind of a flop. It's not terribly spicy, which is what you'd want, when you a good hit of spice. But this is not that spicy. It's just mild. But I'll let you judge for yourself. Today we'll be making hot sauce, Mexican style. Here I have 3 guajilos and 1 big ancho and 3 garlics. This is Korean hot chili flake, so it's about a good, I'd say maybe tablespoon and a half. And I have equal parts of cumin and salt, roughly, I'd like to say maybe a teaspoon and a half. What we're going to do is we're going to take the chilies and dry roast them in the pan until they're nice and brown, softened up a little bit. And then we'll take some water, roughly equal to the volume of this small jar. It's about 1.5 cups, maybe. Maybe 2 cups. And put that in that flat bowl there and let them soak after they've been browned. For half an hour until they soften up nicely. Impart some of their flavor. They're not very hot chilies. This is why I'm using the chili flake, the Korean chili flake. Plus, it also has a nice flavor that I appreciate that. So we'll get to it. Okay, I've turned the chilies once. They're starting to look fairly nice. A little brown here and there. Yeah, it's getting nice and smoky. I processed the garlic, and it's well grated so that it can disperse through the sauce better. After this, we will strain it, of course, with the sieve, but for the time being, we want those garlic full infusion. Alright, we've got the chilies out. I took the stems off because they're not, you don't really want to taste the stems. The seeds are okay, we can strain those out later. Bringing the water up to a low boil, so that should be ready in a moment. And then the fun part, waiting for half an hour. Alright, it's been over half an hour. Looks like we're ready to open up the pods and sift them through. They're nice and soft. Yep, so we'll splice these along the lengthwise, invert them and pass them through the sieve. And this big old poblano here, you can pretty much pass the whole thing through without having to invert it. It's so soft. That's the thing about that one. Alright, let's do this. Alright, we're done passing the chilies through the sieve, and it's nice and smooth. It smells quite wonderful in here, I must admit. It's smoky and it's very, very tasty. So let's fill up this jar and we will take a look at our final product. And there you have it. One jar of, partial jar of authentic hot sauce. It's smoky, it's very, very flavorful. It's a little spicy. It's not as hot as you might think. It's not as hot as like Tabasco sauce or anything like that. It's a very mild sauce, but it is so tasty. I'm going to be using it on chicken tonight, and I'm going to make a glaze of honey for it. Just a very light amount of honey. Add to. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did put a little bit of vinegar in here and a little bit of honey to counteract the bitterness as a preservative. Otherwise, it's only going to last like, I don't know, maybe a week in the refrigerator. So now it'll last, upwards of a month. So it's very liquidy, but it is very, very tasty.